Saint Broadway Grand. All right, shut up there. Stop that. Oh, it is grand to be in the neighborhood on this Shabbos morning with you, my friends. It has been delightful being so much a part of this Dave's Gone By show today. And boy, oh boy, I am so thrilled and excited to be talking to another Broadway and off-Broadway person. This is a man, oh my gosh, he was on Broadway in As Is and in Burn This, and he is currently off-Broadway in a show that is based on a John Milton thing, kind of biblical. It's called Paradise Lost. Ladies and gentlemen, I am in paradise being able to talk to LOU LIBERATORE. Shalom and welcome.
Hello, Rabbi. Thank you so much for that.
Shalom, shalom to you. So before anything else, tell us a little bit about this. This is a fellowship for the Performing Arts Theater. Well, they're doing it on Theater Row, this show.
Right.
How do you adapt a giant poem like Paradise Lost into something in the theater? Tell us about the show.
Well, first of all, you have to congratulate Tom Dulac, the playwright, for taking that momentous poem and putting it into a play that in under 100 minutes. It's been a labor of love for him and Michael Plug, the director. They've been working on it for many years and brought it to the Fellowship. The Fellowship of Performing Arts is a producing company that does theater from a Christian point of view. And so they present a lot of C.S. Lewis and also Martin Luther on Trial. They do a lot of shows that sort of start here in New York, and they bring them around the country, and they're an incredibly successful, wonderful company. They've been really...
Yeah, I have to say, I was absolutely shocked by this, at realizing that Goyim like theater too. Because I just assumed, you look around Broadway, everybody looks like me, and then it's like, oh, wow, there's actually Christians who are making theater. Go figure. It's an exciting...
And they're coming, and they're buying tickets, and they're enjoying it, and they're buying tickets all over the country to the other shows that tour through this company, and it's been quite wonderful. I think Max McLean, the artistic director of FPA, posted something to the effect that today, Saturday, February 8th, there are about 6,000 people buying tickets and seeing shows produced by FPA.
Wow!
All over the country just today. It's quite an amazing feat.
That is,
hats off to them. They're doing a great job.
And by the way, do give a big hello to Max McLean, who was on this program a few years ago, talking when he was doing Screw Tape Letters, I think it was, or one of those shows. So a hi to him, and of course a hi to you, Lou. Now, from your name, I'm guessing you are Italian, yes?
All right, front and back.
So what was it like? How, I usually ask guests how Jewish they are, but how Italian are you?
How Italian am I? Well, I grew up with an Uncle Junior.
Really?
That helped. Yes. He was the youngest of six. He was my mother's youngest brother.
Yeah.
He was the youngest of six, and while he was growing up, he was referred to as Frankie or Junior, because he's Frank Junior. His dad, my grandfather, was Frank. So he was referred to, they called him Junior, they called him Spanky all these many, many years. And the story that I was told, which I love, is that on his first day of school, he went to my grandmother as he was leaving the door, out the front door, and said, "Ma, what's my name?" So, they started, your name is Frank. That's the one he'll be using. But we always knew him as Uncle Junior.
Uncle Junior. Oh, that's fun. So can I, although invariably I do have to ask this, as terribly racist as it is, do you have mafia in your, did you ever have any run-ins with either the real Italian mafia or the local, East Coast mafia, any of that?
What is this mafia you refer to? I've never heard of that.
All righty. Okay. Just say it. So, but in your family at all?
I think there was a movie. With Marlon Brando.
No, it's with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. Come on, what's the matter with you?
That too, as well. A lot of Martin Scorsese films have been something about that. I was never asked to be in a movie of that represents my family at all. So I don't know. I've never heard of this thing called the mafia. But anyway, I will say that once in a while my father would come home and say, "Hey, this fell off the truck. Do you want it?"
No, is that true? True, or are you joking?
Of course, it's true. Yeah, that's very true. There was one time when, remember, we're hot plates. There were these hot plates. And all of a sudden, everyone got a hot plate for Christmas or their birthday or an anniversary or something. My father had 12 of them for some reason. I'm like, okay.
Okay. What did your father do for a living? Or what did he say he did for a living? Yeah.
My father, he passed back in 2004.
Yeah.
Was a stockbroker.
Oh. Yeah.
And he started at 13 years old. He started in 1929. And his job was running up the ladder to put the prices of the stocks up on the chalkboard.
What day in 1929 did he start his career? Because that was
when he started, exactly.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, was it like before, or was his first day in November 1929, or is it in February 29?
The exact date I'm not sure, but I know that was the year he started. And he was interviewed when he retired in his 80s.
Yeah.
And the day he retired, he had 3 job offers because he had an amazing book of clients that people wanted, of course.
Yeah.
But he was interviewed. There was an article about him saying that he lived through 2 crashes.
Oh, well, there you go. Let me ask you, though, did that, in your decision to take up such a risky career as acting, did that mean that you had this cushion because your father must have made some pretty good money, so you always knew, unlike some other people, I'm never going to starve on SpaghettiOs. I'm always going to be okay, or not?
Well, we didn't starve because our parents worked hard. We just never said no to us, basically. But my father made other people millionaires. He would give enough stock tips to the guy who parked his car. That's who he was. He wasn't one to. He was a stockbroker that made safe bets. And so, I'm not saying we were poor. I'm not saying we were extravagantly wealthy at all. We did fine. But the reason getting into the business, into show business, let's say, the business of show, was mainly because of Carol Burnett, watching her on television. Oh,
okay. Did you want to be? Yeah.
And so I watched a lot of television growing up. That was sort of my babysitter. And watching Carol Burnett, it just sort of hit me. I'm like, you know what? I want to do that. I want to make people laugh. I want to make people cry and stuff. So that's kind of, and I don't think it was a conscious decision by any means. It certainly was in the back of my mind. I don't think I ever wanted to be, I didn't want to follow into my father's footsteps because I never really understood what he did.
He went to Uncle Junior and they made a deal and they shot some people and they brought home hot plates. This is what they. No, I'm kidding. But here's the deal then.
No guys were involved.
Did you do much theater stuff in like high school or college?
Yeah, I did a little. I did a little in high school. I had a wonderful neighbor, Danny London, who would always. He was that typical theater kid of let's put on a show.
Right.
And so he was a nice, actually, Jewish neighbor of mine, /Jewish, half Italian, who would always put on a show, and he would do a production of Godspell that he was gracious enough to put me in, even though I don't sing, and I don't sing well. And but I did little things, but also I was involved in sports. I was a wrestler. I've been a wrestler since grammar school.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So lots of times the rehearsals for plays would coincide with practices for wrestling, and so I did a couple of things in high school. West Side Story, I was Bernardo. But he didn't sing in the stage version that we did, so it was fine. Things like that. And then once I got into college, again through my friend Danny, I went to college for a semester because they had a wrestling team in the theater department.
Oh.
But I kept talking to my friend Danny, my neighbor, who went to Fordham at Lincoln Center in New York.
Yeah.
And he kept telling me about a play he was directing or a play he was acting in, and all. And I'd be like, well, we read The Adding Machine again here, and doing nothing. So I transferred to Fordham, and that's where it really kind of went full steam ahead, focusing on theater.
And not to be cliche about this, but you were into wrestling all these. Was there a moment as a let's say teenager, a young teenager in wrestling, when somebody was pinning you and you're like, oh, I like boys? or was it not quite like that?
It never ever entered my mind while I was wrestling at all. No, there was never. I knew I was gay from maybe 8th grade or so, but I think I was a late bloomer in my sexual awakening, let's say, and so it was never something that got in the way or I thought about or distracted me. I just was focusing. I was focusing on wrestling, which I was decent. I wasn't great by any means, but it's a wonderful sport.
Yeah.
But no, it was never part of my. No, it was never in my head or in my actions or any of that. And then once I got into college, I realized, there's guys out there. And that was sort of an interesting, transition at that. I still wrestle to this day. I mean, I was my home team is the Golden Gate Wrestling Club in San Francisco, and funny story. After my hip surgery, my hip replacement, in 2014. 2016, I wrestled in the Gay Games in Cleveland, and I got a silver medal.
Now, wait, wouldn't your doctor tell you, after they're replacing your hip, like, you can walk, you can even maybe take a slow bike ride, you can do a lot, you can act, certainly, in normal things. Don't!
You can ask a lot of directors and writers. I sometimes tend not to listen to them. And so I jumped out of bed immediately the day after. They want you on your feet immediately. Oh. They want you to walk and push. And I knew physically I was in decent shape before the operation. And afterward, I was like, this isn't going to stop me. I just want to get better because I have no patience for that. So I got better real quick. And then next couple of years, there was a tournament, and I was like, hey. Wow. I was on the team back, I think, 2008 or so, when they were going to Amsterdam, but I got a gig, I got an acting gig, and I couldn't go, so this was an opportunity for me.
Now, speaking of acting gigs, LOU Liberatore, what was Circle Rep really your entree into the field?
Circle Rep is everything. Every time I practice an acceptance speech about some award I've lost, Circle Rep is always going to be how it all started, how it all began for me. And even at Fordham, when I was at Fordham, Rod Marriott, who was a literary manager at Circle Rep at the time, was a teacher of mine, a professor of mine. And upon graduation, while all these people were going to grad school, I wasn't. He said, well, what are you going to be doing? I said, I really don't know. He says, why don't you be an intern at Circle Rep? I said, okay. And that's how it all began. I started there, building sets and hanging lights and shoveling the snow off the theater so the water doesn't drip on the stage, and running to get coffee for Lanford Wilson, and that's kind of how it all began. Wow. Do you have any stories about some of those, like Lanford Wilson, Marshall W. Mason, some of those, Bill Hurt? So I mentioned, as is, while I was an intern, and after I finished my internship, it was about a year, so I was in the lab there, and I was just walking down the hall one day, and Bill Hoffman said, Lou, come here. He brought me into a room and goes, I've written a couple of scenes of this little play. Do you want to, just read them for me with a couple of guys? I'm like, okay. And we sit in the room, we're reading it, and I'm like, oh, Bill, what's the name of this play? It's called Two Loves. Oh, Bill, that title. What is that? And that play became As Is. Right. And slowly but surely, it was something that kind of pulled me in out of the hallway. I read a couple of scenes. A few months later, he read more scenes. A few months later, it became a play. A few months later after that, we developed, and boom, it opened Circle Rep, and it went to Broadway.
Well, come to think of it, since we bring that up, for people who don't know, As Is was the first major show of any kind to tackle the AIDS crisis and gay life in New York.
Right. That went to Broadway. Right. Because If Normal Heart was being written literally at the same time as we were. It was written. It was being rehearsed, and at the same time, while they were at the Public and we were at Circle Rep, it was almost side by side. And Larry Kramer, God bless him, is the big mouth that he is, and that we know and love. Yeah. He got a lot more press, certainly. But we opened, I think, approximately around the same time, and his was, this political, hair-raising play, which was exciting. And ours was quieter, smaller love story. They saved the public, and it went on for a while, and we moved to Broadway.
Right.
We were the first play that dealt with AIDS on Broadway. I'm proud to say.
Now,
and it was an exciting.
a gay person who was a young man, eligible man back in that day, and being in that play, and being in New York during what was at the time, AIDS was a death sentence at that period.
Exactly. And it was happening.
Yeah.
Every day we went to rehearsal. Not only did the play change daily with new information or false information that we had to delete, or just hearing about someone who just died as I was walking to rehearsal. We were in the middle of it. We were in the middle of history, and I couldn't say that at that moment. We just knew we were in the middle of this crisis that was going on, and watching Bill and Marshall craft this piece so beautifully, but also so devastatingly. We couldn't help but be affected, and it so informed all of our choices, all of our decisions, all of our performances, that there wasn't a false note anywhere from the beginning of that till when we closed. And it was amazing that we were just in the middle of it, writing and rewriting and adjusting and correcting. And just recently, my boyfriend Christopher directed a production of it at Baruch, where he teaches at Baruch College, and it was amazingly successful and devastating to watch again.
Were you?
Earlier,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Were you personally? Yeah. Sorry. Go.
Just that the year prior, Michael Urie helped produce the Pride plays at Rattlestick during Pride, and we did a reading of As Is. And Cheryl Kaller directed us, and Mario Cantone and Jerry Dixon played Saul and Rich. And I read all the roles that I did on Broadway, including Brother. So I was kind of, I wasn't sure how it was going to be received. Well, the house just blew them away. It was incredible, and that's kind of where Christopher got the idea that he wanted to stage it again. So it was amazing. I thought it was going to be dated, but it wasn't at all, and it's still incredibly powerful, and it works.
But I also want to know, as just a person, as a human being in New York and gay at that, I mean, were you terrified? Did you wake up did you go to the doctor every year? Yeah.
I was celibate for that whole time,
right? Yeah.
Because everybody was scared of just breathing the wrong way or looking at someone and see if they catch it. We didn't know where to turn, what to do. It was one of the blackest times of my life, of the history of my life, because you didn't know what to do. So theater, in a way, was my safety, as it always has been. Theater has been my religion. Theater is the church I go to, and so it was a safe haven, so to speak. For me during that time, and I thank God for that, because it certainly saved me. It was an amazing. This is how theater saved my life. Theater changed my life, and this place particularly, and Circle Rep, and I can't say enough about Marshall Mason and the great Bill Hoffman.
Well, speaking even still of these people in Circle Rep, and a play that is kind of about AIDS but isn't, but kind of is another show that you were on Broadway in called Burn This, which is Langford Wilson.
Yeah. And I like to say, it's Langford's AIDS play in that regard, because it's about this loss of an artist. That happens at the beginning of the play. We come back from this funeral and of this gorgeous dancer, this wonderful who's being a choreographer. But there's the death of an artist and how it affects everyone around him. And so that's and nothing is ever mentioned overtly in that play until the final scene with Burton and
Pale.
And not Burton and Larry, actually.
Yeah.
When he talks about having an immune system, and Larry's like, well, yeah, it's kind of useful to have. That's the only sort of like oblique reference to it. But I definitely see Burn This as Langford's AIDS play. On a side note, do you know who replaced me on Broadway in Burn This?
Who replaced her on Broadway? Hold on, let me think. Arnold Stang. No, wait.
Close, very close.
Very close. Wait. Yeah. Hold on. Sherman Helmsley. No, I give up. Who?
Mr. Lonnie Price.
Oh my gosh! This is And in joke because I just interviewed Lonnie Price a few moments ago on this program. Yeah.
I know.
Oh my God! Well, here's the thing about you. Were you a cast replacement in Burn This, right, or were you from the original?
No, I was the original.
You were in the so you and I would love to hear if you have any stories at all about John Malkovich.
John, I can't say enough about him too. He's a sweetheart. He's funny. He's definitely humorous and dry. Let's see, one thing about John. We were about 6 months into the run, and John said, "Lou, listen, I'm going to wear something new on stage tonight. See if you can find it." So I said, "Oh, great. Fine. We're very comfortable. We're doing the play. It's opened. We're doing very, very well. We're having a great time. It's a great cast.
Yeah.
We'll get along. It's just been lovely." And so I'm like, "Oh, cool. That'd be fun." And so he enters, and I'm looking at him top to bottom, inside and out. Okay. Next scene. Every time I see him, intermission, I can find it, and I get to act 2, and I'm looking, and end of the play, curtain calls down. I'm like, John, what is it? I couldn't find. I couldn't keep my eyes off you. And he says, exactly what your character should be doing.
Oh.
He was giving me subtly a little note because the director that he is, and it was wonderful. But it shows how playful and fun he was. And something that he cared about, was serious about. So I took it, and I love him.
Because my the producer of this program, Dave, he remembers seeing Burn This with John Malkovich back in the, and it was just he tore the roof off that theater. Oh, it was not that you weren't great too, but there was something about when Malkovich came on stage. Yeah. Now, before we get away from AIDS, I wish we could all get away from AIDS, but before you actually did an AIDS movie with Olivia Newton-John. Huh?
This is a movie called It's My Party.
Yeah.
And it was written by Randall Kleiser and directed by Randall Kleiser.
Got it.
It's based on a true story that Randall's former partner, Harry, was good friends of my partner at the time, Joel Thurm. Joel and I lived in California, and we had Randall directed Grease, and my former partner was the casting director for Grease.
Oh.
And so they've been friends for many, many, many years. And Harry, at that time, we didn't know Harry was ill, and Harry and Randall always had a pact, even though they were not together any longer. They had a pact that if Harry got sick, he would take his own life rather than live through hospitals and hospice, etc.
Right.
So all of a sudden, I saw Harry at the gym one day, and he was like, "Oh, Lou, did you see my sunglasses?" And they were on his head. I'm like, "Harry, they're right there." Oh, and Harry was always funny and silly and all, but he was never absent-minded. And so we saw a little of that happening here and there. And so we then got a call that there was this party that Harry was giving, wanted to say goodbye to everyone, because Harry realized he only had a couple of weeks left to live. And so we did go to this party, and Joel always had a camera with him. He said, "Should I bring, as we're going to the party, should I bring the camera with you?" I said, "Well, bring it, but, keep it low. Don't sort of advertise it." Well, while we were at this party, everybody wanted a final picture with Harry, because they knew that's what this party was about, was he was saying goodbye to all of us. And it was very surreal. He'd pop into a room where we'd all be, and he's like, "Hey, Lou, what are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "I don't know." He goes, "Yeah, me neither." And exit. And we're all like, wow, this is surreal. It was insane. So at this party, which was scheduled to be sort of a 2-day affair, Joel was snapping pictures all over the place. Then on the 3rd day, they sort of had to, the party had to be held over, so to speak, because friends from Europe had to fly in to say goodbye to him, like Helena Bonham Carter and a whole bunch of people. And so on the final day, just his close circle of family was around him, and he and with a doctor, assisted suicide, he left us that way. And then months later, there was a memorial, and at the memorial, Joel gave Randall this packet saying, "Here are the pictures I took. When you have time, look through them and see what's what." As Randall was looking through these pictures, he remembered what Harry had told him was, get back to writing those stories, those interpersonal stories that you did early on when you were at USC and early career, and from that he wrote It's My Party. Joel produced it and helped cast the film. And in the film, I played Joel. I played my former partner with the camera, and I also assisted Randall with some improvisational moments in the play. I teach improv, and so I helped him with moments and things, and sort of set those scenes up for he and I would walk through the scenes. We'd set them up and have people come in. I'd give groups of people little suggestions on what to say. Margaret Cho and Eric Roberts, Olivia Newton-John, Marley Matlin. It was wonderful. Bruce Davis, and it was great.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience because it was a true story. We all knew Harry, we all loved Harry, and.
But it's boggling my mind that literally on the third day of the party, while people were still kind of there, was when he,
But at that point, people had mainly left, and it was just a small circle of his family and close friends. We so it was only like a small circle who then, but then the actual event happened, just Harry, just the doctor, and just a couple of people.
Wow. Fun stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what?
There you go. Right?
Well, it's a hell of a story, I'll tell you that. We're talking with LOU LIBERATORE here. By the way, how do you pronounce your own name?
Funny you should ask. My parents would always say Liberator. Liberator. They were very much from that generation of Americanize everything. It was Liberator. And growing up, I always felt I was kind of tripping over my teeth saying my name. And years later, at Circle Rep, by the way, the wonderful playwright Joe Cantaro said to me, Lou, you're mispronouncing your name. I said, Joe, what do you mean? He says, it's LOU LIBERATORE. I said, well, yeah, Joe, I'm not exactly going to walk into a room and say, hi, my name is LOU LIBERATORE. But since then, I've always pronounced all the letters as most of the Italian words are, the Liberatore. So I say Liberatore. So
you do say with the E on the E, Liberatore on the end.
I pronounce the E at the end. Most of my family say Liberator.
So, that's the thing. If I hear that, I'm confused when I have to take Lipitor. So I'd rather call you Liberatore, and it's much easier for me. Now, everybody can go... It was
not easy growing up in grammar school.
People should go see this man. He's on Theater Row doing a show called Paradise Lost from the Fellowship for the Performing Arts. But to find out how to get tickets and how to go, by the way, it's FPA Theater, and that's theater with an R-E, FPAtheater.com to go see this adaptation of John Milton's Paradise Lost by Tom Dulac. But we do not lack for questions, other questions, for LOU LIBERATORE. For example, I do want to ask that you were in a show or a TV thing called a sequel, I guess you would say. If it's Tuesday, it still must be Belgium with Lou Jacoby. Oh my God, do you have a Lou Jacoby story?
I wish I did. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I was too busy just finding my way around. We were in Yugoslavia, when it was Yugoslavia. That's when we shot this movie, and I was worried about what I was eating, so I brought my own brown rice, and we weren't sure about that the DAG that was on the menus was actually what we weren't sure what this DAG was on the menu, so we kind of were a little scared about that. Unfortunately, do not have a Lou Jacoby story. I wish I had. He was a treasure.
All right, okay, fair enough. So,
but I was Courtney Cox's. I like to say in that movie, I was affianced to Tracy Nelson, and then with Claude Akins, we go to Europe on this tour, and I meet Courtney Cox that she played, and I like to say she's my like interest, not my love interest, because we never kissed on camera.
Well, it'd be kind of wasted on you. Of all things, no offense, but of all people to send to play a love interest with 20-year-old Courtney Cox, they send a gay guy. I'm sorry. Any actor would have traded.
That's Hollywood, baby.
I know. It is. My gosh. Well, tell us, one of the things about you is that not only have you been on and off Broadway, but you have a list of IMDb credits. And I'm kind of curious what might be one or two of your favorite parts, favorite roles or things that you think people should seek out if they can find it on, YouTube or Hulu? Oh, I was really good in that, or that's a really good show,
Well, I usually, I think the play that I'm doing at the moment is always, whatever project I'm doing at the moment is certainly my favorite at the moment.
Of course.
So Paradise Lost, I'm having a wonderful time doing that, and it's a great role and stellar cast. I can't say enough about Allison Frazier and Mel Johnson and Robbie Simpson, Marina Shea, David McDonald.
Sure.
Just are incredible ensemble that we have put together. And I love this character, Beelzebub. Tom's written an incredibly funny character and really kind of
well, wait, let me
from the same wheelhouse, which is nice.
Let me stop you there, because what a hell of a thing, because within a year's span, you went from playing God to the devil, because you were just in a play a couple of months ago by Peter Felicia. What was it called? It was God something?
God shows up.
God shows up. You played God.
Yeah. I played God, and actually God shows up, and it was at the Actors Temple.
Of course.
Which was even better.
And written by another Italian.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was quite fun. Peter wrote this wonderful play about this televangelist who had a talk show, and at one point God writes a letter and says, "Hey, I want to be on your show." So God shows up. And
well, let me ask, which for you now play God and the devil, which is closer to typecasting for you? It depends on who you ask. If we ask Christopher, what would he say? Well, my partner Steve will definitely say, I think the Beelzebub character is closer to me than the God character. There's a little bit of all of it. There's a little bit of both in all of me. That's all I can say. I'm lumpy in that respect. Now, you did study acting. I mean, you said you did a little bit of theater here and there in high school and stuff, but you were at Bill Esper and other acting teachers in schools, and you actually teach improv. Now, what is one of the best one or two pieces of advice that you ever received or learned about the nature of acting and performance?
Certainly from Bill Esper, who was, again, one of the great architects of my career and so many other people's careers. Basically, know what role you are, know who you are. He always said, excuse me. He always said, not everyone is cut out to play Hamlet. And so it's knowing who you are, where you fit into whatever category that is. And so to save yourself time and energy and upset, know that whether you're a leading man, you're a character actor, you're an ingenue, etc., knowing that just saves you, the directors and the casting people and your agents, lots of time and energy. Is just, what roles are for you. There's certainly roles that you can play, but there are a lot of roles that you are. And when I read a play or a script, TV or film or something, I like to see certainly what I can bring to it, but I react. I connect, I should say, to something when it really hits home to me. And so knowing where you are on that sort of actor.
That's good. No, but I was just talking, as you know, before to Lonnie Price, and he said what happened with him was he knew he was a 5'6" balding Jewish guy, and he quit acting because he realized, that's what I'm gonna get, So
I'm an inch taller, and I still have hair. So
you're not Jewish.
Staying in at the moment. But on top of that, I'm not as talented as Lonnie Price is. Yeah. And so at the moment, if you've still got words for me to say, I will say them. And as long as I can do it.
Well, actually, this is the question that everybody asks. And you are a veteran actor. Some might say a journeyman actor. I mean, you might not be a household name, but you get work. You get constant work. But if you hadn't made it in the field, if you couldn't support yourself at this point in the career, what might you have been?
I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. I don't know really what else to do. For a chunk of time in the middle of my career, when I was a little too old for high school, too young for young dads, I was in retail for a good I was on stage for a good 10, 15 years, and I did retail, which was a sort of theater. You know, I had my props to sell, and I had my little theater stage to work out of. So I did pretty well with that. So and theater is a type of sales. You know, certainly you're selling the story, you're selling yourself. So I suppose I'd go into some sort of salesman, you know, role. But I'll be honest with you, I can't really even see myself doing anything else.
Well, yeah.
It's that clear and strong in my bones. I know when I'm not doing something. Ask my partner, ask my boyfriend. I'm not useful at all. I'm kind of a wreck. So if I'm not working, I don't exist.
Now, one thing we didn't mention, since when I said that you are working, and you're certainly more visible now, I would say, than you have been in like 20 years since the Burn This days and the As Is days. You're much more.
But I won't correct you on that. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, but the thing is, what we haven't mentioned is that you've also done a ton of regional theater. You've acted all over America. So, what is like one of the favorite experiences that you've had, or the funniest things that have happened while you've been appearing in the regionals?
Well, first and foremost, one of the best experiences I ever had was playing Roy Cohn in Angels in America.
Whoa. Okay. Where?
I did that at the Actors Theater Louisville. Meredith McDonough was our director, and it was a real life-changing experience for me on many levels.
Why?
I was doing Daniel's husband at the time down at the Cherry Lane at the Primary Stages, and Ryan Spahn, who was in the show with me, we were in the dressing room, and he yelled at me, "Lou, have you ever done Roy Cohn?" I went, "Oh, yeah, I've done scenes in class and things like that, but I've never actually performed." He goes, "Oh, okay," and that was it. That was the end of the conversation. I had no idea what he was talking about. And unbeknownst to me, he was texting with Meredith McDonough, the director, about me because Ryan was supposed to do the play but had to drop out for another commitment. And they were talking, and Meredith was saying, "Do you have any suggestions for actors for Roy Cohn?" And so, not knowing, he was sending pictures of me to her and talking about me, et cetera, et cetera. And about a week or so later, I got a call about an audition, and it would be put on tape. Meredith was out of town, so I'd be put on tape. And I got the sides, and it was the audition side. And it was the opening scene in Roy's opening monologue.
Right.
And so I rehearsed, and I went to have it taped at a place called the Tape Room with Marcia DeBonis. And I sent her the material, and I booked an appointment for half an hour. And she, confirms the appointment, says, "Okay, I work to work on these scenes with you." And I looked at her like, "Scenes? It's just one," but whatever, and I could have let it go. And I got there, and she says, "So, listen, you only booked a half an hour." I said, "Well, yeah, it's only just one scene." She goes, "Lou, it's 4 scenes." "Oh, it's 4?" I said, what are you talking about?" I said, "Well, okay." So we expanded it. We booked for an hour, and I said, "I haven't even looked at these other scenes." So we kind of ran through them once or so, and we taped them, and it came out okay. But I felt good with it because Tony's words are so wonderful. I just immediately responded and clicked and connected to this role.
Yeah.
And so we put this tape together. It was like 20 minutes long. And casting people want to see 2 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
At most, it's not even that much. So I'm like, and it's like 5 o'clock at night, and it has to be at 10 o'clock the next morning, and I was kind of freaking out. I was calling my agent. I was like, "I don't know what happened," and I was like, "Oh, kind of, in a tizzy, major tizzy." And he said, don't worry." So we send this tape the next morning, and I'm at home thinking to myself, what happened? How come I missed these scenes? What's going on? Inadvertently, I had sent her an old audition side to Marcia DeBonis at the tape room. I had sent her an old audition, not the Actors Theater audition.
Oh, no.
So, which I got deleted from my computer, and so I basically ended up doing 4 scenes, and they sent it to the casting director, and they liked it. And later that afternoon, my agent calls me and told me I got the part, which is great. What I found out months later is that Meredith was talking to a co-star saying, "God, this actor really wants this part. He just kept sending us scene after scene after scene. He's like reading the whole play." And like she was all excited, this actor really, really wants this, not knowing I totally screwed up.
Oh my gosh!
Like doing too much, and also cursing her the whole time, going, "How dare they? Why don't they have to just do the whole play?" Like he said, Anyway, I got the part.
Anyway, and by the way, we have a listener who typed in and said that who saw you in Louisville doing Angels in America and says that you were one very scary Roy Cohn, which is a compliment.
Robert, my partner, by the way.
Oh, okay, yes. But here's a question. You know, to play a character, I mean, you're playing the devil now, so it doesn't get worse than that. But how do you get into such an awful, terrible person like Roy Cohn? Yeah.
Well, you don't see them as awful and terrible. Right. I mean, Roy was about survival, and he would do anything in his power to stay in power, to keep his name. And the biggest thing about him was being disbarred. That was his biggest fear. So he would do anything in his power to keep that, as well as to stay closeted.
Sure.
So it was for him. It was this animal that was caged, and he was surrounded, and he was just fighting for survival in any way, shape, or form.
And that's what you responded to. That's what. Yeah.
Excuse me?
And that's what you responded to. You were able to, because you have to identify on some level, even when you're playing a rotter. Was that maybe what the part that most spoke to you when you're doing someone like Roy Cohn in Angels?
Well, yeah, you have to find something actable. You have to find something that you can do. You have to find an action, and his action was to survive.
Yeah. And
so the actions that he took because of that came out the way they came out, which were disgusting and horrific and terrible. But to him, it was a survival mode. Now
this sounds like an amazing career highlight, or it was a career highlight for you doing Angels in America at Louisville ATL. But what about the worst experience you ever had doing regional or maybe off-Broadway theater? What's an experience that you were like, oh God, how did I get into this?
There was something, actually, I've got to say, without sounding too Pollyanna-ish, I've been very, knocking on wood here.
Knocking wood.
Very blessed to have been involved in many, many, many successful, enjoyable, fun.
I know, but come on, there must have been.
I will give you one.
Okay.
Because I never actually did it because I got fired.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
This was, and in a way, it was a blessing. It was White Noise. It was a musical called White Noise.
Oh yeah.
And it was based on this. I think it was
a white supremacist band or something like that, wasn't it?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
They were called Prussian Blue. And if you go on YouTube and look for them, they've even been interviewed. I think they were interviewed by Diane Sawyer or whatever. But there was a sister duo, little folk singers, who would play basically what I call the KKK circuit. They went Oregon, Washington, Idaho, all over that part of the country. They would sing love songs to Hitler and white supremacy. Well, there was a spoof musical written about them that played like NIMF for one of those musical festivals here in town, or Fringe or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody bought that product and turned it into a real musical, and I played the manager of this group, which was now then a three-piece rock ensemble, I managed them, and they had incredibly racist songs. They said, well, if you just change the lyrics of some of them, your diehard followers will still know how racist you are, but your crossover fans will think it's just a wonderful pop song. On the other hand, I also was representing these brothers who are rap brothers, and they were singing quite racist songs from their point of view as well. So I was this manager, and this was produced by Mitchell Maxwell. Oh
my God, yeah. There was a whole fraud thing with him, wasn't there, or something like that?
Yeah, he checks bounced with him, and there was a whole drama about him went to jail, whatever. And so he was co-directing and also producing, and he would just give me the strangest direction. And at one point, and I was having trouble with my lines at the time because I didn't have any songs. I just had the book, and so So he says, what do you need? I said, well, I need to do the scene, get notes, and do it again. He goes, yeah, it's not going to happen. I said, oh, okay. And there was just the strangest whole rehearsal period, and I just wasn't getting it at that time. And it's my first musical I'd ever done. It was a Broadway musical. And I never been involved with that. The songs, the dances, they were down. They were ready to open, and I was still working on my lines. We're like 2 weeks into rehearsal. And then at one rehearsal, I saw my standby leave the room with the producer. Then I saw him walk back in, and like he was ashen. He was just white faced. And I said, "Excuse me, was I just fired?" He said, "Call your agent." So I called my agent, and he's like, "What are you still doing there?" I said, "Oh, I don't know. No one said anything." He goes, "You've been let go," and no one told me. I'm in rehearsal, getting notes, and they had fired me. And it was insane. So I walked out of that place. It was just horrible. It was just the worst feeling I ever had. I'd never been fired before. And it was just...
But you got your what's not comeuppance, but you got a little bit of revenge, because White Noise did not make it to Broadway by any stretch of the imagination.
No, the drama that happened is that we went down to New Orleans to do it at the Petit Theater, and Mitchell was actually removed from the production for some activities that he allegedly, I wasn't there, had done, but there was not nice things mentioned of what he had done. He was removed from the production, a lot of upset, and then eventually Sergio Trujillo took hold of it. It was in Chicago, and it never made it into Broadway. So, but the best part of that was that I got cast about a week or so later in that championship season up at Westport, and which was one of the greatest experiences I ever experienced. His name just went out of my head. Directed, and Bobby Colhesi and John Doman, Skip Sudduth, Tom Nellis. It was an incredible production. So I was getting 2 paychecks. So I was very happy.
Oh, isn't that's nothing better than that, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, say hello if you ever speak to Robert Colhesi also, because he was on this program many, many years ago. And I'm glad he's still active.
He just came to the show a couple of weeks ago. We had dinner together.
Oh, mit Mazel Nicklick. By the way, unfortunately, we have to wrap up our talk with LOU Lib. I'm going to stretch her name out very long right now. Liberatore. Isn't that beautiful?
There you go. Good for you.
Now, if people want tickets to see Paradise Lost off-Broadway at the Theater Row Theater, which is over by like 8th and 9th Avenue and West 42nd Street, they can go to fpatheatre.com, and that's theater with an R-E, fpatheatre.com. Do you have a website, or where can people follow your career?
The best way to follow me is on Twitter at LOU Liberatore, or on Instagram at LC Liberatore.
Now, speaking of your career, Paradise Lost is a limited run. It's running only through March 1st. So I imagine you're going to be in something else pretty soon after that. Do you know what it is?
We're in negotiation.
Oh, okay. Oops.
But yes, there's something coming up hopefully in April or so.
Wow. Well, let me ask you, the last question then for LOU Liberatore is, when you're not acting, and you're just around New York, what is a hobby of you? What do you like to do in your spare time? Not that actors have any spare time, but when you're not teaching or acting or having to go to classes or voice work or any of that stuff, what is a non-theatrical thing that you like to do?
Non-theatrical. That's tough, because even on my nights off, I go to the theater. My partner Steve is an architecture nut, and so he loves old buildings and old signs that are, signs that are still painted on walls, and also he's opened my eyes to up to this gorgeous architecture, old and new, in New York City. And so that's something I like to do, is just kind of walk around the city and look up.
That's not a bad thing to, I mean, unless you're tripping over dog poop, and then you kind of have to look down a little bit. But boy, oh boy, things are looking up for us right here when we talk to wonderful, talented folks like LOU Liberatore. Go see him in Paradise Lost at the Theater Row Theater. It just remains for me to say, LOU, may I call you LOU?
Please.
LOU, it has been a delight to talk to you, and I just wish you health and success and all good things going forward. Happy Valentine's Day as well to you and your partner, and shalom to you.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to talk with you today, and letting me just go ramble on and on about myself. But shalom to you, a big hug, and continued success, all that you do. And thank you for your immense support of the theater. Can't say that enough.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And shalom. Bye-bye now.
Shalom.